We'll be developing this rating dashboard on Bubble that we can then go and check on our cell phone by logging into it. So here we have a data set or a record which is having two dimensions, two measures, and a date, which is most of the time acts like a dimension. And so this is about students going through some industrial training where they rate the facilities where they had the training, they rate the instructor. And so these numbers come here, the text comes here, the name of the facilities, the name of the instructor. We save it here, and then we have a instructor page as well. So I'll just show you, like a preview. So I make an entry, say F1, my facilities name, my I5 is my instructor name, start date 12/12/2020, facilities instruction 5, instructor rating 3. I save it, and this is what I get. My most current one, F1, I5, 5 and 3. This is the average facilities rating for this entire data set, the average instructor rating for the entire data set. And then I can go to an individual instructor's analysis. So I go to an instructor page, and I have a combo box here. So the default value is I1. So you can see they're all I1 here. But then in the combo box, I can, and for I1, the average facilities rating are these ones. But I can go to the combo box and choose I5, and then the average facilities and the instructor rating come out like these, And then I can go back to the main page. So this is the application that I would be developing. And so we go to, this is my editor that I was showing, the application. Now I go back to my main page, and I go and create an app. Each of the apps across the whole Bubble world has to be unique. So I'll just call it, DB Abby. So give a name that has your initials. And then, I just do a couple of next step, get started building. And then I close this one. So let me. So this is the document that is there, dashboard Bubble, which is there in your Canvas, low code, no code, and this is the document that I will be following. So we will first build much of this interface, then we'll go and build the database. So I go and say snap to edges and grid. Close this, and very now and then it will say, this thing has been upgraded, and so at that point you have to stop the work and refresh the page for the system to work, and it happens a couple of times in an hour, So this is my page, and I will show grid and borders, show grid. And the first top level is my text box here. So I will just say text box. And I will make it say H5. And I'll write like this, rating the dashboard. and maybe I'll arrange it horizontally. Then I've got this image, and now we must check that their names should be meaningful. So I've got this image here. So I go and make the image, and then I go and do search for free images. I make it university. I select this one, and then I say import. Now I'm going to have, this is again another text box where I'm giving the titles to my input boxes. So I go and create a text box here, and I can go to the rich text editor, and I can start writing facilities instructor. Start date. Facilities ratings and instructor ratings. And I'm going to now create 5 input boxes. So I will drag an input box here below this. Placeholder, I'll call this facilities. Then I'll drag another one, which will be my instructor. So I'm going to line this up with the, and the names again must be meaningful. So I'm going to write here as instructor. And both of them have to be text. Then I am going to create third one here. I will say start date. And the content is very important. We get this content right, and the name is also meaningful. Then I create this one. So this is facilities rating. And this is going to be a number, decimal. And then I'm going to have the last input here. instructor rating. My format has going to be decimal or integer. So now I have these 5 input boxes. Then I'll have a button here, save. So at this point, we'll go and create our database. So that is on my page 2 here. So I've got a single table and it's called a rating, and I'm going to have F1, I1, F1, I2. So I'll have 2 of each of the instructors and the facilities. So I go to data, new type, I call it ratings. Create. Then I create fields just like this. Create field. I call it facilities. Field type is text. Then I create a new field called instructor. Field type is text. Then I create a field type called rating facility. And the field type here is number. So I'm going just following this, and then I create rating instructor. And that is again number. And then I create start date, and you might make it text and put date instead of long dates. You just give values like January, JN, and FEB and all that. So this is how it looks now. My ratings, I've got these 5 things, and then there are stuff they add themselves. So I go to apps data, and I can now start putting some combination of values. So I go to new entry. I call it say F1, instructor I1, rating faculties, facilities 4, rating instructor is 4, start date 12, 12, 12, 12, 21, 12, 00 AM, create. So I got a F1 I1, then I will make another one F1 I2, F1 I2, 5, 4, start date 11, 11, 2022, 12, 0 AM. So I have F1 I1, F1 I2. Now I will make F2 I1. So now I will make F2 I2. So my things are looking somewhat like this. And now I'll go back and create my the repeating group. So I go back to my design and then I add this text box that reads these 4 values, and there are facilities, instructor, rating facilities, rating instructors. And I can do a rich text editor. Now I introduce a repeating group here. So here, if I go, this is what I'm going to be doing. So this is on page 3. My type of content is ratings, and the data source is I search for ratings. And maybe I'll just put 2 or something, Eventually we'll remove this box, this click, And so my repeating group also has a proper name to it. And now I'm going to be introducing 4 text boxes. Like this: current cell rating facilities, current cells rating instructor, like that. So I'm going to introduce a text box first, and if it is done right, it will repeat. And again, I will be doing it like this. Insert dynamic data, current cells ratings, facilities. That's all. And I'll make this like this. Then I have another text box. Done right, it should appear here again. And again I do insert dynamic one, current sales rating, instructor. If I click here, it becomes blue, means it's all right. Then maybe, I'll just, okay, then I insert this text box. I go insert dynamic, current cell ratings, rating facility. And here I have a text box. Current sales rating, rating instructor, RATINS. And again, if it is blue, it is okay. And so now I've attached to my repeating group. I mean, the Microsoft people call it grid, and I like that term, grid. And I can see review now. So I've got those, it's showing me 2 values out of the 5, So I go back to the bubble editor. I click this one and I take out the thing called fixed rows. I go and see review, and now I have got this slider so I can see all the 4 values. I can also test this out now. So I can go to preview, can go and do again for F1, instructor I1, start date 04/04/2023, 4 and 4, and I do save. Well, maybe I have to go and refresh it there back again. Bubble editor, let me see if it has got my... Oh, I have not put the workflow behind my save as yet, Okay, no problem. So I go back to my design page, and now I have to put the workflow behind save, and that is the page, this one, page 3 and 4. So there are 2 steps. So I do double click, start and edit workflow. The first step is I create a new thing. The new thing is ratings, and these are my values that I get, the 5 values. To set a field, so my field is facilities. This is equal to input facilities. That's why I was saying, the names have to be meaningful. Input facilities value. Then my next one is instructor. and it will be equal to input instructor's value. Third one is rating facilities. That is input facilities rating value, and rating instructor input instructor ratings value, and then start date input start dates value. And then the second step is element action, and I do reset inputs. So that is what I've written here. And the second step is to reset the inputs. So my workflow is done. And now I can go and do preview. So I do F1, I do I1, start date, let me make 04/04/2023, facility rating 4 is rating 4. I do save, and I get this, and I can also, I should go back and check on my bubble editor on the data side of things that I really got that fifth element in there. So now I have quite a lot of functionality in there. So I go to here. Now I'm going to be inputting this search text box, this text box. So this text box acts as a label. This text box acts as a demo of the output value. So now I'm going to have 4 text boxes here. So I'm going to just write facilities rating or something, average facilities. It could be some, it could be anything, you know. And then there is a text box that will give me the output, you know. They actually show me the number. And this is what I do. I do dynamic data. I do search for ratings. Then I go here. Each item's facilities. Then I go here. Not facilities units, each item rating facility. Each item, search for rating. Each item rating facility. Average. So it's blue, it is okay. And I can extend this out, And so I can now go and preview. So that is the 4.2 is the average facility rating for the entire data set, I will now do the same thing for the average instructor rating. And then this is the text box which will be showing the output. And again, I go to insert dynamic data, do a search for ratings, search for ratings, each items. Each item rating instructor. Average. And I can do a review. And so that is the value I get, So I would now introduce a next page. So I'll introduce a button here. I would now add a page, call it instructor, and maybe I'll just clone it from the let me see what happens if I clone it, Okay, so now I have this instructor page, and behind this I'm going to start and edit workflow. So when the button to instructor page is pressed, the click an action, you navigate, you go to the page, instructor. So I go back to my design, I go to preview, I go to instructor page, and I suppose that is the cloned page showing, let me go back and check, so now let me go to so this is the instructor page, and in the instructor page now, I'm going to change this to main page. And when this is clicked, button to main page is clicked, navigation, go to page, index. Okay, so this is now I'm on the instructor page, and I'm going to now make it look different from here, So I'm going to now call this as instructor rating dashboard. I don't need this one. So I'll take this out, I'll take these out. I'll take this out. So I'm now here. And I have to now introduce this combo box. Drop down box. I might call this instructor, And my choices are I1, I2. They have to be different lines, I just introduce I3, Default value, let's make it I1. Otherwise, the whole thing will come out to be empty, Okay, so now my repeated group ratings is going to look like this. Search for ratings. This is rating, and my constraint is instructor is equal to drop down instructors value. So I can now select I2. So these are the only two values. I1, these are the only two values, and I don't know why they're coming out. I'll have to maybe go back and check these ones, and then I can go back to the main page, which is this one. So okay, so let me go and test out, see. Okay, this is becoming too big a file, we can discuss that, so I'll just stop this. So we are now on that instructor rating dashboard, and this is the formula that goes here, and it's given in your page handout, page 6. And if we run this here, preview, So I1, we have these values. I2, we have different values, and of course I don't have much data for no data for I3 at all, And so that is the 2-page. And if we want to have a facilities analysis page, like we'll have a 2 facilities analysis page where the formulas will change. Instead of instructor rating, we'll have a combo box for facilities. Otherwise these 2 formulas will remain exactly the same, So that is the way to develop our dashboard. We could have a 3rd page where we select both the instructor and the facility, and having selected, again these formulas will remain the same because only the cell values selected would be different,